In today's fast-paced world, feeling overwhelmed by your to-do list has become almost a norm. The constant pressure to do more, faster, and better often traps us in a cycle of endless work. Yet, the most successful leaders and productive individuals share a secret. They know how to delegate effectively. Delegation is much more than just passing tasks to others. It is a powerful strategy that unlocks your freedom, multiplies your impact, and allows you to focus on what truly matters. When you delegate well, you shift from being a bottleneck in your own workflow to becoming a leader who empowers others and creates space for growth. But delegation can feel challenging. Many struggle with trusting others, fear losing control, or worry about the quality of outcomes. These fears are natural, yet they often keep us stuck in overwhelm and burnout. This audiobook will guide you through the art and science of delegation. You will learn why delegation is essential not just for your productivity, but for your well-being and leadership. We will explore the common barriers that hold people back, and more importantly, practical steps to overcome them. You will discover how to choose the right tasks and people, communicate with clarity, and build trust that fosters accountability and growth. By mastering delegation, you create a sustainable way to work smarter, not harder. You reclaim your time and energy for high-impact work, creativity, and connection. This journey is an invitation to step into your power, let go of unnecessary burdens, and build a life where your influence is amplified, not diminished by what you choose to delegate. Let's begin. Chapter 1. The True Power of Delegation Beyond Task. Sharing. At first glance, delegation might seem straightforward, simply handing off tasks to someone else so you can lighten your load. But the reality of delegation is far richer and deeper than just transferring work. It is a strategic, empowering process that, when done well, multiplies your effectiveness and builds stronger teams. To unlock the full power of delegation, you need to see it as an act of leadership and trust, rather than a mere convenience. Delegation is fundamentally about leverage. Just like a lever amplifies force to move heavier objects, delegation amplifies your capacity to create impact. No matter how talented or hard-working you are, your time and energy are limited. Delegation allows you to multiply those resources by tapping into the strengths and efforts of others. This shift from doing everything yourself to orchestrating contributions from a team is what separates overwhelmed workers from impactful leaders. But effective delegation is not simply passing a task and forgetting about it. It involves clarity, communication, and shared accountability. It means giving ownership, not just instructions. When you delegate well, you entrust not only the what, but also the how, allowing people to bring their skills and creativity to the table. This builds confidence and competence, which benefits everyone. Imagine you are a conductor of an orchestra. Each musician plays a part, and your role is to guide and harmonize their efforts into a beautiful performance. Delegation, in this metaphor, is not about doing every note yourself, but about directing others to play their parts at the right moment and with the right expression. The result is far more powerful than what one person could achieve alone. Understanding delegation this way opens your eyes to its potential. It's not a way to escape responsibility or shirk work. It is a path to expanding your influence and accelerating progress. When you delegate thoughtfully, you create a culture of trust and growth where people feel valued and empowered to contribute their best. This approach also requires a mindset shift. Many people resist delegation because they equate it with loss of control or fear the quality won't meet their standards. But holding tightly to every detail drains your energy and limits your impact. True leaders understand that letting go while maintaining oversight is an act of strength, not weakness. Effective delegation also recognizes the development opportunity it offers. By assigning tasks and responsibilities, you help others grow in their roles. This investment pays dividends as your team becomes more skilled, autonomous, and motivated. Delegation, then, is a cornerstone of leadership development. It's important to note that delegation works in different ways depending on context. Sometimes it's task delegation, handing off specific, well-defined tasks. Other times it's project delegation, entrusting broader responsibilities with greater autonomy. Both require communication and follow-up, but vary in scope and trust level. When you approach delegation with intentionality, you build a system that benefits everyone. You free yourself from the overload that stifles creativity and strategic thinking. At the same time, you build a collaborative environment where people take ownership and feel connected to shared goals. Consider the impact of delegation on your work-life balance. Without it, you might find yourself working late hours, caught in urgent firefighting, or missing out on opportunities to innovate. Delegation helps you reclaim your schedule, reduce stress, and create time for high-value activities and personal well-being. One of the most powerful benefits of delegation is its ability to scale your influence. Whether you lead a small team or a large organization, your effectiveness depends on how well you can distribute work and develop others. Delegation is the multiplier of leadership impact. In summary, the true power of delegation lies far beyond mere task sharing. It is an essential leadership skill that unlocks growth, builds trust, and amplifies your ability to achieve meaningful results. It requires clarity, communication, and a willingness to invest in others. But the reward is freedom, a freedom to lead with vision, creativity, and balance. As you continue through this audiobook, you will learn how to overcome the barriers to delegation, select the right tasks and people, communicate clearly, and cultivate trust that fuels collaboration. These tools will help you master delegation as a powerful strategy to free up your time and elevate your impact. Chapter 2: Why Delegation Feels Hard. Identifying your barriers. Delegation is a powerful tool, but despite its clear benefits, it often feels difficult or even impossible to practice effectively. Many people hesitate to delegate, find themselves holding on to tasks longer than they should, or avoid the process altogether. Understanding why delegation feels hard is crucial to breaking free from the overwhelm and unlocking the freedom that delegation promises. The barriers to delegation are often rooted deep in our beliefs, emotions, and past experiences. They vary from person to person, but share common themes that keep us stuck in the cycle of trying to do everything ourselves. By recognizing these barriers, you can begin to challenge and overcome them. The control trap. Fear of losing quality. One of the most common reasons delegation feels hard is the desire for control. You may worry that if you delegate a task, the outcome won't meet your standards. This fear of imperfect results can make you cling tightly to every detail, micromanaging or, worse, doing the work yourself. This control trap stems from a belief that your way is the only right way, or that others won't care as much as you do. While it's natural to want high-quality results, holding on too tightly often leads to burnout and bottlenecks. Letting go doesn't mean settling for mediocrity. Instead, it means trusting others to approach tasks with their own strengths and perspectives, while providing clear guidance and feedback. The first step is shifting your mindset from control to collaboration. The perfectionism barrier. Doing it just right. Closely linked to control is perfectionism, the belief that a task must be done flawlessly, often by you. Perfectionism fuels procrastination and reluctance to delegate because the fear of mistakes looms large. This barrier convinces you that delegating will result in subpar outcomes, reflecting poorly on your leadership or standards. However, perfection is often an illusion, and striving for it on every detail is unsustainable. Accepting that good enough or even imperfect work can move projects forward is freeing. Delegation includes room for learning and growth for both you and the person receiving the task. The trust deficit, fear of relying on others. Trust is the foundation of delegation. Yet, many struggle to trust colleagues or team members fully. This may arise from previous disappointments or a lack of confidence in others' abilities. Without trust, delegation feels risky. Will they deliver? Will it create more work for you? This fear can paralyze your willingness to share responsibilities. Building trust takes time and experience. Start small with low-risk tasks and observe how others perform. Provide support rather than criticism. Over time, confidence grows, making delegation easier and more effective. The identity issue. Feeling indispensable. Some people tie their identity tightly to their work. They feel that if they don't do everything themselves, they risk losing their value or role. This belief can make delegation feel like surrender or weakness. This indispensable mindset often leads to overwhelm and prevents leaders from scaling their impact. Recognize that your true value lies not in the volume of tasks you do, but in the influence and vision you provide. Delegation is a way to expand your role, not diminish it. The fear of burdening others. You may hesitate to delegate because you don't want to overwhelm others or seem demanding. This empathy is commendable but can backfire if you end up overloaded yourself. Effective delegation balances workload fairly. It's a dialogue, not a demand. People often appreciate opportunities to contribute and develop when approached with respect and clarity. Lack of clarity and priority. Sometimes, the barrier isn't emotional but practical. You might struggle with unclear priorities or uncertainty about what exactly to delegate. Without clarity on what matters most, it's hard to let go of tasks or decide what others should handle. This confusion keeps you trapped in doing everything yourself. Developing clarity about your goals, priorities, and the strengths of your team creates a roadmap for delegation. Clear criteria help you identify what to delegate and to whom. The challenge of communication. Delegation requires effective communication, explaining tasks, expectations, timelines, and resources clearly. Many fear they won't be able to convey these details well, leading to misunderstandings or mistakes. This barrier can be overcome by practicing structured communication, asking for feedback, and confirming understanding. Delegation is a skill that improves with experience. The overwhelm of letting go. Sometimes, the sheer volume of tasks makes delegation overwhelming. Where to start? What to delegate first? This paralysis leads to inaction. Breaking down tasks, starting small, and creating a simple delegation plan makes the process manageable. The cultural or organizational context. In some environments, delegation is discouraged or workloads are unevenly distributed. Cultural norms or leadership styles might make delegation feel risky or frowned upon. In these cases, changing delegation habits requires patience, courage, and sometimes advocacy to shift mindsets and demonstrate the benefits. Moving beyond barriers. Acknowledging these barriers is empowering because it transforms vague feelings of resistance into specific challenges you can address. It also normalizes the difficulty of delegation. Know that you're not alone in feeling this way. The next chapters will guide you through practical strategies to overcome these barriers. You'll learn how to build trust, communicate clearly, and design systems that make delegation a natural and effective part of your leadership. By working through your fears and misconceptions, you open the door to greater freedom, influence, and impact. Delegation is not just a task to master, it's a mindset to cultivate. Chapter 3. Choosing what to delegate, the art of selective release. Knowing that delegation is powerful and understanding the barriers to it are important, but the heart of effective delegation lies in choosing wisely what to delegate. Delegation is not about offloading everything that feels burdensome or simply passing tasks indiscriminately. It's an art of selective release, deciding thoughtfully which responsibilities to entrust to others and which to keep close. Mastering this art will maximize your impact, protect your time, and develop your team. Delegation starts with clarity about your role, your goals, and your priorities. It requires discernment to distinguish between tasks that only you can do versus those that others can handle, often better or more efficiently. This distinction is key to unlocking the freedom and leverage that delegation promises. The core principle: focus on your unique contribution. Every leader, professional, or creator has unique strengths and responsibilities, activities where your skills, insights, or authority make the greatest difference. These might be strategic decision-making, creative direction, relationship building, or high-level problem-solving. Your first filter for what to delegate is to ask, is this task central to my unique contribution, or can someone else do it competently? Tasks that do not require your specific expertise or judgment are prime candidates for delegation. For example, a business owner may be best suited to setting vision and building partnerships, while administrative tasks like scheduling, invoicing, or basic customer inquiries can be delegated to support staff. Identifying tasks that consume time but not necessarily value. Some tasks take up a disproportionate amount of your time without contributing significantly to your goals or growth. These are often repetitive, routine, or operational. Delegating such tasks frees you to focus on higher impact activities. This might include data entry, basic research, travel arrangements, or social media posting. These tasks, while necessary, do not require your unique insight and are excellent candidates to assign to others. Tasks that help develop others. Delegation is also an opportunity to develop skills and confidence in your team or colleagues. Selecting tasks that stretch someone's abilities or align with their interests can be motivating and growth-enhancing. Think of delegation as an investment. By entrusting meaningful work to others, you build their competence and loyalty, creating a stronger team for the future. For instance, assigning a junior team member to manage a project segment or lead a client presentation with support can be a valuable development experience. Tasks that are time-sensitive but low complexity. Urgent tasks that require quick turnaround but not deep expertise are ideal for delegation. This ensures timely completion without pulling you away from more complex work. Examples include responding to routine customer service questions, processing orders, or preparing standard reports. Tasks outside your strengths or preferences. It's natural to procrastinate or feel drained by tasks that don't align with your strengths or interests. Delegation can alleviate this friction. If you find certain responsibilities consistently challenging or unpleasant, and they can be done well by someone else, delegation is a smart solution. However, be mindful not to delegate essential leadership responsibilities that require your attention just because they're uncomfortable. Balance is key. When not to delegate, the guardrails. While delegation is powerful, some tasks should remain your responsibility. Critical decisions involving your authority, confidential matters, or activities that require your personal touch or accountability are usually non-delegable. Also, avoid delegating tasks when the cost of mistakes is high and the delegated person lacks sufficient training or experience. These guardrails help maintain quality and trust. The Pareto principle and delegation. The 80/20 rule, or Pareto principle, applies well to delegation. Often, 20% of your tasks produce 80% of your results. Identifying and focusing on that vital 20% means delegating the rest. By concentrating your energy on the few high-impact activities only you can do, you multiply your effectiveness and create space for creativity and leadership. Practical steps to choose what to delegate. Begin by tracking your daily and weekly tasks to see where your time goes. Reflect on which activities add value to your goals and which consume time without proportional returns. Next, classify tasks by complexity, urgency, and your unique contribution. Engage your team or colleagues in conversations about their strengths and interests to match tasks well. Create A delegation list, prioritizing items that fit the criteria for release. Start small. Delegate a few low-risk tasks initially and gradually increase as trust and skills grow. Example: Maria's strategic delegation. Maria, a marketing director, spent much of her day juggling email replies, meeting scheduling, and social media posting, leaving little time for strategy. By carefully selecting routine communications and scheduling tasks for her assistant, Maria reclaimed several hours weekly. She then delegated social media content creation to a junior marketer interested in digital media, providing guidance and oversight. This selective release allowed Maria to focus on high-level marketing strategy, resulting in a successful campaign launch and stronger team engagement. The emotional aspect of letting go. Choosing what to delegate often involves overcoming emotional resistance. You may feel attached to certain tasks or worry about losing control. Remember, delegation is a form of trust, not abandonment. By releasing selected tasks, you create opportunities for others to shine and for you to lead more effectively. Recognize the empowerment in freeing your time to focus on what truly matters. Delegation as a dynamic process. Delegation is not a one-time decision but an ongoing dynamic process. As your role evolves, so will your delegation choices. Regularly review your responsibilities and adjust your delegation plan accordingly. Stay attentive to your team's growth and capacity. Conclusion: the art of selective release, choosing what to delegate, is foundational to effective delegation. It demands self-awareness, clarity, and courage. By focusing on your unique contribution, offloading time-consuming or low-value tasks, and investing in others' development, you build a system that amplifies your impact and preserves your energy. Mastering this art leads not only to greater productivity, but also to more meaningful work and balanced leadership. As you continue this journey, remember that delegation is about creating freedom, fostering growth, and achieving more by doing less yourself. Chapter 4. Selecting the right people, matching tasks with talent. Effective delegation is not just about deciding what to let go, but also about choosing the right people to take on those tasks. Selecting the right individuals to delegate to is essential to ensure that the work is done efficiently, accurately, and with enthusiasm. When you match tasks to talents, you unlock potential, build confidence, and create a collaborative environment that fuels success. This chapter explores how to identify the best candidates for delegation, assess their skills and readiness, and align tasks with strengths. With thoughtful selection, delegation becomes a win-win process that empowers others while freeing you to focus on what matters most. Why matching matters. Imagine assigning a complex marketing analysis to someone who excels at creative writing but has limited analytical skills. The result may be frustrating for both parties: inefficient work, stress, and potential errors. Matching tasks to the right people not only improves outcomes, but also enhances motivation and job satisfaction. When people engage in work that aligns with their strengths and interests, they perform better and feel more fulfilled. From your perspective, it reduces the need for micromanagement and revisions, saving time and preserving your energy. Assessing skills and strengths. Start by taking stock of the skills, experiences, and preferences of your team members or colleagues. This assessment can be formal or informal. Ask yourself, what tasks have they excelled at previously? What are their areas of expertise? What tasks energize them versus drain them? Sometimes, team members have hidden talents not immediately apparent. Observing how they handle different assignments or having open conversations can reveal valuable insights. Use tools like skills, matrices, performance reviews, or one-on-one discussions to gather information. Evaluating readiness and capacity. Talent alone is not enough. Readiness and capacity are equally important. Readiness refers to whether someone has the current skills and confidence to take on a task independently or with minimal support. Capacity is about whether they have the time and resources to manage additional responsibilities without burnout. Delegating to someone overwhelmed or unprepared can lead to mistakes and frustration. Gauge readiness by considering past performance and willingness to learn. Capacity may require honest conversations about workloads and priorities. The role of interest and motivation. People tend to do their best work when they care about the task. Aligning delegation with personal interests boosts engagement and creativity. Ask individuals what kinds of work they want to develop or what challenges excite them. When possible, offer choices or rotate tasks to maintain motivation. For example, an employee interested in leadership might welcome managing a project or mentoring others. Matching task complexity with experience. Tasks vary in complexity, and so should delegation decisions. Complex, high-stakes tasks generally require more experienced individuals or closer supervision. Simpler, routine tasks can be opportunities for less experienced team members to build skills. Providing clear instructions and support for challenging tasks is essential to success. Communication and expectation setting. Once you select the right person, communicate clearly what the task involves, expected outcomes, deadlines, and any constraints. Discuss the level of autonomy they will have and how you will provide support or feedback. Clarifying expectations up front prevents misunderstandings and builds trust. Encourage questions and confirm understanding. Empowerment through delegation. Matching tasks with talent is also about empowerment. When you entrust responsibilities aligned with strengths, you give people a sense of ownership and confidence. This empowerment encourages initiative, problem-solving, and accountability. It shifts your role from doing to coaching and supporting. Using delegation as development. Delegation can be a powerful tool for developing skills and preparing people for future roles. Assign tasks that stretch capabilities without overwhelming. Provide learning resources, mentorship, and constructive feedback. Recognize progress and celebrate successes to reinforce growth. Recognizing limits and being ready to adjust. No match is perfect. Sometimes, even with the best intentions, a task may not be the right fit. Be attentive to signs of struggle and be ready to provide additional support or reassign as necessary. Flexibility is a hallmark of effective delegation. Example: how James matched tasks to talent. James, a project manager, struggled with a heavy workload and a diverse team with varying skills. He began by mapping each team member's strengths, experience, and interests. He delegated client communications to a team member with excellent interpersonal skills, freeing him to focus on strategy. He assigned routine reporting to a detail-oriented junior member eager to learn. By matching tasks thoughtfully, James improved team performance and felt less burdened. Building a culture of trust and collaboration. When you select the right people and delegate effectively, you foster a culture of trust. People feel valued and trusted, increasing morale and collaboration. This culture reinforces delegation as a norm rather than an exception. Overcoming common concerns. Some leaders fear delegation may expose weaknesses in their team or slow progress. However, avoiding delegation risks stagnation and burnout. Investing time in matching tasks with talent builds capability and resilience over time. Selecting the right people for delegation is a strategic and relational process. It requires awareness of skills, readiness, and motivation. When done well, it transforms delegation from a chore into a powerful tool for growth, productivity, and leadership. Chapter 5. Communicating clearly, setting expectations and boundaries. Delegation is a powerful tool for freeing up your time and developing others, but its success hinges largely on clear communication. Without clear expectations and boundaries, even well-intended delegation can falter, leading to confusion, frustration, and missed objectives. Communicating effectively is not just about giving instructions. It is about setting the foundation for trust, accountability, and smooth collaboration. In this chapter, we will explore why clear communication is essential in delegation and provide practical guidance on how to articulate your expectations and boundaries in ways that empower both you and the person you delegate to. Mastering this skill transforms delegation from a potential risk into a consistent source of leverage and growth. The importance of clarity. When you delegate a task, you are entrusting someone with a piece of your responsibility. This requires them to know not only what needs to be done, but also how success will be measured, what constraints exist, and when updates are expected. Without clarity, assumptions fill the gaps, often leading to outcomes that don't meet your needs. This can result in wasted time for both parties, you correcting errors and the delegatee feeling uncertain or undervalued. Clear communication acts as a contract. It sets a shared understanding and reduces anxiety. It signals respect for the other person's time and effort and lays out the roadmap for success. Defining the scope of the task. Start by explaining the purpose and scope of the task. Why does this work matter? How does it fit into the bigger picture? Understanding the context helps the delegatee see the value and align their effort accordingly. Be specific about what is included and what is not. Defining boundaries prevents scope creep, where the task expands beyond what was intended, causing overwhelm and delays. For example, if delegating a report, clarify whether data collection, analysis, and formatting are part of the responsibility, or if only one aspect is required. Setting clear objectives and outcomes. Articulate what a successful outcome looks like. Be explicit about deliverables, quality standards, and deadlines. Avoid vague instructions like, handle this well. Instead, say, please prepare a detailed report on sales trends for Q2, including charts and a summary, by Friday at 5 p.m. When expectations are concrete, the delegatee can self-assess progress and you can provide objective feedback. Establishing communication and check-in points. Clarify how and when you expect updates. Some tasks require frequent check-ins. Others benefit from autonomy. Discuss preferred communication channels, email, messaging apps, phone calls, and response times. Set milestones or interim deadlines for larger projects to catch potential issues early. Open the door for questions and clarifications to ensure ongoing alignment. Defining decision-making authority and autonomy. Explain the level of decision-making power the delegatee has. Can they make independent decisions, or should they seek approval for certain matters? Clear boundaries on autonomy prevent misunderstandings and delays. For example, you have the authority to approve vendor selections under $1,000. For amounts above that, please consult me. This clarity empowers the delegatee while maintaining appropriate control, outlining resources and support available. Communicate what resources, tools, or support are accessible for completing the task. If training or guidance is available, let them know. This signals you're invested in their success and reduces anxiety about tackling unfamiliar tasks. Encourage them to leverage these resources proactively, addressing potential challenges and contingencies. Discuss foreseeable challenges and how to handle them. For example, if you encounter delays due to missing data, please inform me immediately so we can adjust timelines. Preparing for obstacles builds trust and demonstrates practical leadership. Using positive and constructive language. How you communicate influences motivation. Use language that is clear yet encouraging. Instead of focusing on what can go wrong, emphasize confidence in their abilities and the value of their work. For example, say, I'm confident you'll deliver excellent results. Please let me know if you need support along the way. Positive communication builds engagement and ownership. The art of listening and feedback. Communication is two-way. After delegating, invite feedback and questions. Encourage the delegatee to express concerns or suggest improvements. During the task, provide timely, specific, and balanced feedback. Recognize effort and progress as much as correcting mistakes. A culture of open communication fosters continuous learning and trust. Documenting agreements. For complex or critical tasks, consider documenting the expectations and agreements in writing. This can be a simple email summary or a shared document. Written clarity minimizes misinterpretations and serves as a reference for both parties. Avoiding micromanagement. Clear communication is not an invitation to micromanage. Once expectations are set, allow space for autonomy. Micromanagement undermines trust and stifles initiative. Focus on outcomes, not constant process checks. Example: how Linda set clear boundaries. Linda, a team leader, once delegated a product launch plan to a junior manager without clear expectations. The junior manager was unsure about deadlines and the decision-making scope, leading to delays and frustration. Learning from this, Linda began clearly defining deliverables, deadlines, and decision authority up front. She scheduled regular check-ins but avoided hovering. As a result, projects ran smoother and team confidence increased. Overcoming communication barriers. Sometimes, communication fails due to differences in style, experience, or language. Be patient and adaptable. Use simple language and confirm understanding by asking the delegatee to restate key points. Adjust your approach based on individual needs. Building your communication skills. Effective delegation communication is a skill developed over time. Practice clarity, empathy, and active listening. Seek feedback on your communication style and refine accordingly. Consider training or coaching if needed. Conclusion: clear communication is the cornerstone of successful delegation. By setting precise expectations, defining boundaries, and fostering open dialogue, you create a foundation for trust, autonomy, and accountability. Mastering this skill transforms delegation into a powerful lever for productivity and growth, empowering both you and those you delegate to. As you continue this journey, remember that delegation is not just about getting things done. It's about building relationships, developing talents, and leading with clarity and confidence. Chapter 6. Building trust and providing support. Delegation is more than assigning tasks. It's a relationship, building process, grounded in trust and sustained by thoughtful support. Without trust, delegation becomes a source of anxiety and micromanagement. Without support, it risks failure and frustration. To delegate effectively and free up your time, you must cultivate trust and provide the right level of encouragement and resources. This chapter delves into how to build trust with those you delegate to, the types of support that make delegation successful, and how these elements create a positive cycle of empowerment and accountability. Why trust matters in delegation. Trust is the foundation on which delegation rests. When you trust others to handle tasks competently and responsibly, you can step back and focus on higher-level priorities. This trust reduces the urge to micromanage and opens space for autonomy and growth. From the perspective of the person receiving the task, feeling trusted boosts confidence, motivation, and engagement. It signals that their skills and judgment are valued, encouraging ownership and initiative. Conversely, lack of trust breeds doubt, fear, and a reluctance to take responsibility, often resulting in underperformance or repeated requests for approval. Building trust through consistency and competence. Trust develops over time through consistent, reliable performance. As you delegate, pay attention to the following. Competence. Select tasks that match the individual's skills and provide opportunities for learning. When people succeed, trust grows naturally. Follow through. Demonstrate your reliability by honoring commitments, providing clear information, and responding constructively. Transparency. Share relevant context and decision-making rationale to build understanding and credibility. Recognize that trust is a two-way street. Be open to trusting others' methods and solutions, even if they differ from your own. The role of support in successful delegation. Trust alone is not enough. Providing support ensures that delegated tasks have the best chance of success. Support takes many forms, including resources, guidance, encouragement, and feedback. By offering appropriate support, you reduce risks, build skills, and reinforce trust. Providing clear resources and tools. Ensure that the delegatee has access to necessary resources, whether it's software, information, training, or contacts. If new tools are involved, offer training or tutorials. Removing obstacles early prevents frustration and delays. Offering guidance without micromanaging. Supportive guidance involves sharing your experience and insights without taking over. Be available for questions and advice, but allow room for independent problem solving. Encourage creative approaches and respect different styles. For example, when delegating a marketing campaign, you might set objectives but invite the delegatee to propose strategies. Encouraging open communication. Create a safe space for honest communication. Encourage the delegatee to share challenges, ideas, and progress updates. Regular check-ins, whether brief or detailed, keep you informed and show your commitment. Listening attentively and responding empathetically strengthens trust and collaboration. Giving constructive feedback and recognition. Feedback is essential for growth. Provide timely, specific feedback focused on behaviors and outcomes rather than personal traits. Balance critiques with recognition of successes and efforts. Positive reinforcement boosts morale and motivates continued improvement. Consider celebrating milestones or publicly acknowledging good work. Balancing support and autonomy. Effective delegation requires a delicate balance. Too much oversight stifles initiative and breeds dependence. Too little support leaves people feeling abandoned and uncertain. Adapt your level of involvement based on the delegatee's experience, confidence, and the task's complexity. As trust and competence grow, gradually increase autonomy. Building psychological safety. Psychological safety means that team members feel safe to take risks, ask questions, and admit mistakes without fear of judgment or punishment. Fostering this environment enhances learning and innovation. Demonstrate acceptance of errors as learning opportunities. Model humility by acknowledging your own mistakes. Encourage experimentation and curiosity. The impact of empathy and emotional intelligence. Delegation is not just transactional. It involves relationships and emotions. Practice empathy by understanding the feelings and perspectives of those you delegate to. Recognize signs of stress or overwhelm and respond supportively. Emotional intelligence helps navigate interpersonal dynamics and maintain positive connections. Developing delegation as leadership. Through trust and support, delegation becomes a leadership tool. You develop others' capabilities and confidence. You build a culture of collaboration and shared responsibility. Effective leaders see delegation as an investment, not just a convenience. Example: how Priya built trust and support in her team. Priya, a department head, was initially hesitant to delegate major projects. She started by assigning smaller tasks, offering resources and clear guidance. She maintained regular check-ins, but avoided micromanaging. When her team members succeeded, she recognized their efforts publicly. Over time, her team took on more responsibility with confidence, and Priya freed up time for strategic work. Recognizing and repairing trust breakdowns. Trust can be fragile. If mistakes happen or communication falters, address issues promptly and constructively. Have honest conversations to understand causes and restore confidence. Learn from setbacks to strengthen future delegation. The ripple effect of trust and support. When trust and support flourish, they create a positive feedback loop. Delegated tasks are completed well, building confidence and trust further. This dynamic fosters a motivated, resilient, and high-performing team. It also reduces your stress and allows you to focus on growth areas. Conclusion: building trust and providing support are not optional extras in delegation. They are core components of its success. When you approach delegation as a relational process grounded in mutual respect and empowerment, you unlock productivity and potential on all sides. As you continue refining your delegation skills, remember that trust grows with time and experience, and support nurtures that growth. Together, they transform delegation from a mere task distribution into a powerful strategy for leadership, development, and freedom. Chapter 7: Overcoming Common Delegation Pitfalls. Delegation is a skill that transforms how you work and lead, but it is not without its challenges. Even seasoned leaders and professionals encounter obstacles when trying to delegate effectively. These pitfalls can hinder progress, create frustration, and sometimes make delegation seem more burdensome than beneficial. Understanding these common challenges and learning how to navigate them is essential for turning delegation into a sustainable, empowering practice. This chapter explores typical pitfalls, why they occur, and how you can overcome them with intention and confidence. Pitfall 1: reluctance to delegate. One of the most frequent barriers is the reluctance to delegate at all. Many people hesitate because they fear losing control, worry about quality, or believe that doing it themselves is faster or better. This reluctance often stems from perfectionism or a deep sense of responsibility. While admirable, this mindset leads to burnout and bottlenecks. To overcome this, start by recognizing that delegation is not about dumping work, but about distributing it wisely to achieve better overall results. Shift your perspective. Delegation empowers others and creates space for you to focus on higher impact tasks. Begin with small, low-risk tasks to build confidence in both yourself and your team. Remember, the goal is progress, not perfection. Pitfall 2: vague or incomplete instructions. Delegation fails when instructions lack clarity. Ambiguous expectations cause confusion, rework, and missed deadlines. Avoid this by providing detailed, specific guidance on what needs to be done, why it matters, and how success will be measured. Use written summaries or checklists when appropriate. Encourage questions to clarify understanding. Clear communication reduces errors and builds trust. Pitfall 3: over-delegating or under-delegating. Striking the right balance is tricky. Over-delegating overwhelms others, damages morale, and can lead to mistakes. Under-delegating keeps too much work on your plate and limits others' growth. To find balance, assess your team's capacity and skills honestly. Delegate tasks that match their abilities while stretching them just enough to learn. Regularly check in and adjust based on feedback and results. Pitfall 4: micromanagement. Micromanagement stifles autonomy and discourages initiative. It sends the message that you don't trust others, leading to disengagement. Resist the urge to control every detail. Set clear expectations up front and then step back. Focus on outcomes rather than processes. Use check-ins as opportunities for support, not surveillance. Practice patience and allow room for learning and mistakes. Pitfall 5: lack of follow-up and feedback. Delegation is not a set-it-and-forget-it process. Failing to follow up leaves the delegatee uncertain and can result in misalignment. Conversely, overly frequent check-ins can feel intrusive. Schedule regular, meaningful touchpoints to review progress. Provide constructive feedback that acknowledges efforts and guides improvements. Make feedback a two-way conversation. Pitfall 6: ignoring individual differences. People vary in skills, motivation, communication styles, and learning preferences. Treating everyone the same in delegation risks frustration and inefficiency. Get to know your team members well. Tailor your delegation approach to individual strengths and needs. Some may want detailed instructions, others prefer autonomy. Adapt your style to support their success. Pitfall 7. Failing to build trust. Delegation can falter if trust is absent. If you don't believe others can handle tasks, you may withhold important responsibilities. If others don't trust you, they may hesitate to take initiative or ask for help. Build trust through transparency, reliability, and supportive communication. Celebrate successes and handle setbacks with empathy. Pitfall 8. Not providing necessary resources. Even the most capable delegatee will struggle without adequate tools, information, or authority. Ensure they have what they need to succeed. Anticipate obstacles and provide training or contacts as required. Offer yourself as a resource, not just a task giver. Pitfall 9. Misjudging timing. Timing affects delegation success. Delegating when someone is overloaded or during critical phases can backfire. Plan your delegation thoughtfully, considering workloads and deadlines. Communicate priorities clearly to avoid stress. Pitfall 10. Avoiding difficult conversations. Sometimes delegation involves saying no or redirecting work, which can be uncomfortable. Avoiding these conversations leads to unclear roles and resentment. Practice direct, respectful communication. Explain your reasoning and focus on shared goals. Difficult conversations build clarity and mutual respect, turning pitfalls into opportunities. Every pitfall is a chance to learn and grow. When you encounter a challenge, pause and reflect on what went wrong and why. Solicit feedback from your team. Adjust your approach thoughtfully. Celebrate small wins as you improve. Real-life example. Overcoming delegation challenges. James, a project manager, struggled with delegation. He often either took on too much himself or micromanaged his team. After feedback and reflection, he started setting clear expectations, matched tasks to strengths, and trusted his team more. He scheduled regular check-ins, focused on support rather than control. Over time, his team became more autonomous, projects ran smoother, and James felt less stressed. Conclusion: delegation is a journey with bumps and learning curves. By understanding common pitfalls and approaching delegation with awareness and intention, you can transform these challenges into stepping stones. Overcoming these obstacles builds your confidence as a delegator and strengthens your team's capability and morale. Remember, effective delegation is not just a time management tool, it's a leadership skill that unlocks freedom, growth, and impact. Chapter 8. Creating a delegation habit, making it part of your leadership DNA. Delegation is not just a one-time action or a sporadic strategy. It is a habit that, when cultivated deliberately, becomes woven into the very fabric of your leadership style. Like any skill, delegation improves with consistent practice, reflection, and adaptation. Over time, it transforms from a task you manage to a natural part of how you lead, enabling greater freedom, growth, and impact. This chapter explores how to build delegation into a reliable habit, the mindset shifts that support this process, and practical ways to sustain and deepen your delegation skills. The power of small beginnings. Building a delegation habit starts with small, intentional steps. If delegation feels overwhelming or unfamiliar, begin by entrusting simple, low-risk tasks to others. These initial acts are opportunities to practice communication, provide support, and observe outcomes without high stakes. For example, you might delegate routine scheduling, document formatting, or preliminary research. As you gain confidence and see positive results, your comfort with delegation will naturally increase. Starting small also minimizes anxiety, both yours and your teams, creating a safe space for learning and experimentation. Reflecting to improve. Habit formation requires reflection. After each delegated task or project, take a moment to consider what went well and what could be improved. Ask yourself, did I communicate expectations clearly? Was the support I provided adequate? Did I trust the process and resist micromanaging? How did the delegatee respond and grow? Use these insights to adjust your approach. Perhaps you need to provide more context, give greater autonomy, or improve follow-up routines. Reflection turns experience into wisdom, accelerating your growth as a delegator. Seeking and valuing feedback. Delegation is a two-way street. Encourage open feedback from those you delegate to. Their perspectives can reveal blind spots and opportunities for refinement. Create a culture where feedback is welcomed and normalized, not just about tasks, but also about communication styles, decision-making processes, and support systems. This exchange builds mutual trust, enhances collaboration, and deepens your understanding of effective delegation. Establishing routines and reminders. Habits thrive with consistency and structure. Embed delegation into your regular workflows by setting reminders and routines. For instance, designate a weekly time to review upcoming tasks and identify delegation opportunities. Keep a delegation log or checklist to track delegated assignments, progress, and follow-ups. Automate reminders to check in with team members or to assess outcomes. These practical tools help you stay intentional and accountable, preventing delegation from slipping through the cracks. Cultivating a delegation mindset. Creating a habit is not just about actions, it's also about mindset. Embrace delegation as an act of leadership, not a sign of weakness or loss of control. Recognize that by sharing responsibility, you amplify your impact and empower others. Shift from a perfectionist or do-it-all mentality toward one of trust, patience, and growth. Remind yourself that mistakes and learning curves are part of the process, not failures. Normalizing delegation within your culture. As you build your delegation habit, influence your organizational or team culture by modeling and encouraging delegation at all levels. Celebrate successful delegation stories. Encourage team members to delegate appropriately within their roles. Provide training or resources on delegation skills. By embedding delegation into your collective culture, you multiply its benefits and create a more resilient, capable organization, overcoming setbacks and resistance. Habits face resistance and setbacks. Delegation may trigger fears about quality, workload, or trust. When you encounter doubts or challenges, pause to revisit your purpose and progress. Seek support from mentors or peers who model strong delegation. Reframe setbacks as learning opportunities, not reasons to abandon the habit. Persistence and self-compassion are your allies in embedding delegation as second nature. The freedom and fulfillment of delegation mastery. Over time, as delegation becomes habitual, you will notice profound changes. You'll experience greater freedom to focus on strategic, creative, or high-impact work. Your team will grow more capable, confident, and engaged. Workflows will become smoother, and outcomes will improve. Delegation becomes a source of fulfillment, not just efficiency. You become a leader who builds leaders. Final thoughts. Making delegation a habit means embracing it as an ongoing journey, not a one-time fix. It requires patience, reflection, and the courage to let go. But the rewards are immense: more time, less stress, a stronger team, and greater achievements. By integrating delegation into your leadership DNA, you unlock the full potential of yourself and those around you. Chapter 9. The freedom delegation brings living beyond overwhelm. One of the greatest gifts that effective delegation offers is the freedom to live and lead beyond the constant grind of overwhelm. When you delegate well, you break free from the exhausting cycle of trying to do everything yourself. opening space for creativity, rest, and higher impact contribution. This chapter explores how delegation cultivates this freedom, why it matters deeply for your well-being and success, and how to embrace this shift fully. The weight of overwhelm. Many people operate under the crushing weight of overwhelm, juggling endless tasks, responsibilities, and deadlines. The relentless pace often leads to stress, fatigue, and diminishing returns on effort. Overwhelm steals joy and clouds clarity, making it difficult to focus on what truly matters. Delegation offers a way out. It's not just a management tactic, it's a powerful antidote to overwhelm. By sharing the load, you lighten your mental, emotional, and physical burden, creating room to breathe and think clearly. Freedom to focus on what matters most. Delegation frees up your time and energy for the work that only you can do: strategic thinking, visionary leadership, relationship building, and personal growth. When you release tasks that others can handle, you reclaim your focus for high-value activities that advance your goals and purpose. This shift from doing it all to leading with intention transforms how you engage with your work and life. It's a move from reactive busyness to proactive mastery. The gift of time. Time is one of our most precious resources, yet it often feels in short supply. Delegation buys you back time. Time you can invest in deep work, rest, learning, or meaningful connection. With intentional delegation, you can schedule moments of pause and reflection, which are essential for creativity and resilience. This regained time enhances not just productivity, but quality of life, reducing stress and preventing burnout. Overwhelm is a leading cause of stress and burnout. When you attempt to shoulder everything, you increase your risk of exhaustion and disengagement. Delegation acts as a protective shield. Sharing responsibilities prevents overload and spreads accountability, reducing pressure on any one individual, including yourself. This balanced approach supports sustained performance and well-being, empowering others and building trust. Delegation's freedom extends beyond your own experience. It empowers those around you. When you delegate thoughtfully, you invest in others' development and confidence. This creates a culture of trust and collaboration, where team members feel valued and capable. In turn, this supportive environment strengthens collective resilience and achievement. Embracing the emotional shift. Letting go of tasks can trigger feelings of discomfort or guilt. You might worry about quality, control, or appearing indispensable. Recognize that these feelings are natural but don't have to dictate your actions. Embrace delegation as an act of trust in others and in the process. Celebrate the freedom it brings, not only for yourself but for your entire team or community. Living with greater balance. Freedom through delegation fosters balance. It allows you to integrate work with personal priorities such as family, health, hobbies, and rest. This balance is key to long-term happiness and fulfillment. By designing your life around delegation, you create a sustainable rhythm that honors your whole self. Real-life example. Maya's journey to freedom. Maya, a non-profit leader, once felt overwhelmed by constant demands and a sprawling to-do list. By learning to delegate effectively, she began shifting responsibilities to trusted team members. This change gave her space to focus on vision setting and stakeholder relationships. Maya found herself less stressed, more energized, and able to lead with renewed passion. Her story exemplifies how delegation transforms overwhelm into opportunity, making freedom a daily reality. To experience the freedom delegation offers, commit to making it a daily practice. Identify what to delegate, who to trust, and how to communicate clearly. Set boundaries that protect your time and energy. Reflect regularly on how delegation is expanding your capacity and freedom. This ongoing commitment transforms delegation from a task into a lifestyle. Closing thoughts. The freedom that comes from effective delegation is profound. It shifts you from being trapped in endless busyness to leading with clarity, balance, and impact. By embracing delegation fully, you unlock time, reduce stress, empower others, and create space for what truly matters. Living beyond overwhelm isn't a distant dream, it's a choice you can make today through intentional delegation. Step into this freedom. It is the gateway to a more purposeful, productive, and joyful life. Delegation is not merely about passing off tasks. It is an essential act of leadership, self-respect, and strategic vision. When you learn to let go of control and trust others, you step fully into your power. This act of releasing is not a sign of weakness, but a declaration of strength and wisdom. Letting go frees you from the exhausting illusion that you must do everything yourself. It opens the door to greater creativity, deeper focus, and meaningful impact. It allows you to lead with intention rather than reaction, to prioritize what only you can do, and to empower those around you to rise to their potential. Delegation invites you to embrace imperfection and growth. Not everything will be done exactly as you might do it, and that is part of the process. What matters is progress, connection, and shared success. As you cultivate delegation as a habit, you build trust, foster collaboration, and create space for rest and renewal. You transform overwhelm into opportunity, busyness into balance. Remember, your time and energy are precious. Protect them by making delegation a deliberate, ongoing practice. By doing so, you not only enhance your own effectiveness, but contribute to a healthier, more sustainable environment for everyone you lead. Step into your leadership power by embracing the freedom that comes with letting go. This choice is a powerful gift to yourself and those you serve, a foundation for growth, fulfillment, and lasting success.